Hello and welcome to the Farmhouse. I'm Candace Wierzbowski.
And I'm Stephanie Spiker.
And today we're talking to Hayley Painter. Hayley and her sister Stephanie work on their family's fourth generation dairy farm, Painterland Farm, and they've launched their own successful yogurt business, Painterland Sisters.
Painterland Sisters makes organic Skyr yogurt, which is an Icelandic style of yogurt that's thick and smooth, and they make a variety of different flavors, including vanilla bean, passion fruit, and blueberry lemon. Hayley and her sister Stephanie were recently named to Forbes 30 Under 30 list, where they were recognized for the success of their yogurt business. So let's welcome Hayley into the farmhouse.
Hayley, welcome to the farmhouse.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
All right, so how did Painterland Sisters yogurt come about? And did you expect this level of success when you guys first thought of the idea?
We had no idea this would happen. It's kind of like we just kept taking one step in front of each other, and then next thing we knew, all of these opportunities came forward, and we're just really happy, right? We lead with what's our mission, how do we, achieve our mission, and all of the opportunities have kind of come along that path of trying to really sustain our farm and the other farms in our area, and really provide consumers with a nutrient-dense food that, we get to have here on the farm.
So for people who aren't familiar with it, what is Skyr yogurt and what are some of its benefits, and why is that the product you guys chose?
Yeah, so Skyr is Icelandic for yogurt. Most Skyrs are higher in protein, naturally lower in sugar, and are really thick and creamy. In Iceland, they actually use Skyr a lot of times in savory methods like baking or on steak and steak sauce, which is kind of opposite how we use it, which is like fruit and sweet and that kind of thing. So Skyr is just Icelandic for yogurt. And how we started when we had the cows and the farm, we had this dream to really do something and sustain that. And when we travel, we did not like any of the yogurt on the shelves. To be honestly, I hated yogurt. I would only eat it if we made it or it was homemade. And so that's really truly the niche that we saw nationwide. So Skyr is the most premium yogurt we could make. So that's how we stumbled upon that.
Cool. So what were some of the challenges that you encountered as you began to grow your business?
There are so many challenges you don't expect. You have to learn so many hats as business owners. You really have to jump into all of the different levels. You have to be, marketing genius. You have to figure out what sales are and how to even pricing your product out. We even had to learn what industry we were in. We were in the CPG industry, consumer packaged goods. We had no idea. We were like... So it's just like you wear so many hats and you discover so much and you're constantly learning and changing. One of the biggest challenges, mentally and physically, is we got our bank loan, ready to start the company. We had our business plan. We knew how we were going to do it. We had everything ready. We were going to do this first production in March. March came along. We had the yogurt sold. We just had to produce and sell it. And our labels didn't come in.
Oh,
so
no.
that we had this product already sold. We had everything committed. We had to hand label the first 60,000 units. We had to figure out even what type of label to put around a tiny, squished container. Those are difficult labels to make. They're curved. So we brought the whole farm down. We went in that refrigerator. We hand labeled, got glue dots off of U-line. They lined it up perfectly. And yeah, that was a big challenge.
I couldn't even imagine. 60,000 is an unimaginable number to have to do by hand. That's commitment right there.
Plus just the added pressure of this being your first run, just you don't have that established confidence of okay, well, we've done this and it's just a hiccup. It's oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's okay, if these don't go out the doors, we miss out on our first sales, and they're our only sales, and then have to pay back this bank loan.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What if we have to go down a whole different direction? There was no traction behind us, right? It was the epitome. So I think that's the cool thing. The longer you're in business and the more traction and success and opportunities you're given to do, you get more credibility. And you feel less pressure, but it's almost... I don't know. Not one decision can mess it up as much than at the beginning of your business. I still
Yeah.
feel it. Like some days there's still these big decisions we have to make, and you're like, am I going to end the business by making this decision? But that was one of them, that hand labeling.
Well, obviously you made it through that, so that's, take a deep breath. You got through the big hurdle right at the beginning, so that's exciting.
Yeah. So you guys are both relatively young. Did your age ever come up as a detriment, or did you find that people were always happy to work with you, regardless of your age?
When we started telling our community what we wanted to do, they would offer us jobs. When we started getting, consultants and grant money to write our business plan, we had to not just write a loose business plan, we had to have it fully thought out, and really scrutinized. And I think that is because of the youngness. I know it was. They said different things. And then when we were trying to even like build relationships with buying ingredients and different things like that, it came to a point where we actually had to hire an older gentleman to come in, and we were basically like puppeteers. This is exactly what we need you to ask this person so we can get it done. So we literally hired someone to help us with that, right? To like
Wow.
give us credibility on phone calls.
That's, I mean, I completely understand why. It's just kind of still insane to hear. And it's kind of interesting because I feel like a lot of brands, like they're run by older people, but they hire younger people to be the face, whereas you guys were kind of just in this completely opposite scenario.
We were, and so there were challenges like that, but with the I heard once that your biggest challenge is also your biggest strength. And that is equally true of being young women starting a business. Like we have this optimism about us, we have this young energy. People want to help us and give us advice and connections and, guide us through these different paths. And we're always open to listen and, keep our minds open. So I feel like that we do get those opportunities because of that, but we do have like equal challenges or maybe even stronger challenges. So it's not all bad, and we use our weaknesses as strengths, like
Hmm.
everyone should, and really lean in on it and not let it. We don't take it by heart, right? We just figure out a way to work around the system, and keep chugging and going because that's not what we're trying to change. We're trying to change our mission and trying to, have equal voice as we continue on and really sustain these farms.
Well, actually, that leads pretty perfectly into my next question, which is, I know you use milk from your own farm, Painterland Farm, but I feel like your brand has grown so much that you're also sourcing milk now from other farms. So how did you go about getting other farmers on board with selling their milk to you? Was it an easy process, or did it take a bit of an effort to get other farms on board?
Yeah, so we started in 2018 getting our business plan together. And since like 1990 to 2018, the milk market has been pretty shaky. Like farmers were between that time constantly trying to find places to sell their milk, or they get threats or challenges where it actually made them shut their barn doors for good and sell the cows. So we experienced that for the last time at the end of 2018, end of 2019 from our family's farm. We're an organic farm, and we were getting letters from the milk truck driver saying that the co-op might not pick up our milk the next time. And then they would pay us like an eighth of what we should have been getting paid. We're getting paid overflow conventional price, like $7 a hundredweight on an organic milk. That's not sustainable, right? So we did that for 3 months and almost had to sell the cows. We got the milk market stabilized due to COVID. And so we got really aggressive. Like, what can we really do to support our farm and these other farms? And we started telling everyone, we're going to do a value added product. Which one should we do? What do we need? Where can we sell it? We had no idea, but as farmers do, farmers ask their community and get involved and ask another farmer who asks like a big farming group in a community. So that's what we did. Um, and we got a lot of advice. While we were doing that, there were farmers hearing that we wanted to do it, and they were so in need as well that we had dozens of farmers saying, like, we'll jump to you. Like, can we start selling our milk to you, soon? Like, when can we start? and we didn't even have a product until 4 years later. So there was a huge need in our industry at the time. Now, roles have kind of been reversed, and there's a milk shortage. The demand for milk is at like an all-time high, conventional and organic. I believe conventional as well, but definitely organic. It's wild. Like farmers, like if you're farming and you're doing organic, like be happy with your milk co-op because there's a lot of great options out there. And so that is the biggest thing. So right now we source from our family's farm and around 25 other farms. We work with two cooperatives to really help us stabilize those farms so that they can sell their milk to other places when we're not making yogurt out of it. So those are Organic Valley and Lofco right now. They're great partners. Lofco is actually Pennsylvania based, and Organic Valley, frankly enough, 6 months after we started our yogurt brand, that worry of the co-op going out of business came up again. 6 months after we sold our first cup of yogurt, they gave a letter to all the farmers that their next production pickup was going to be their last. So our co-op did go out of business, and now our farm is an Organic Valley farm. So when we're not using our milk for yogurt, we're buying it from Organic Valley along with around 25 other farms. And then we also partner with those Lofco farmers, Lancaster County farmers.
Wow. It's a lot of farms that you're helping to support and utilizing milk from. That's very cool.
Yeah, we set our programs like that. Like our targets are like, all right, we're doing 25 now. Our goal in 2025 is to support 40 farms and so on. So that's part of how we look at it. A lot of, probably dairy brand, yogurt brands don't look at it like how many farmers you're actually going to support.
Right. I feel like you would, a lot of people in your shoes would look at it based on like sales versus based on farm supported, which that is very cool that you're kind of flipped the mindset a little bit, which is cool.
That's the priority, right?
Yeah. So speaking of your farm, it's, as you mentioned, it's organic and you use regenerative practices. So when did you guys kind of implement being an organic farm, and what are some of the things you do differently at your farm?
Yeah, we switched to organic in around 2003. Our organic inspector told us that it was one of the fastest transitions because we literally were already doing organic practices. And then when we started the food brand and got into that, we started hearing the word regenerative. It's still kind of a newer word. It's still being defined. But when we first heard it, what we thought of, it brings us back to being farm kids. We're here in northern PA. These hills are monstrous, right? And so we had 13 cousins we grew up with. So our mom would be like, all right, guys, who wants to go take a walk in the woods? We'd go take a walk. And then when we got into college, we'd hang out with our friends or we'd travel. Like we flew to Arizona, and our friend was like, let's go take a hike. We went for a hike, and this hike, it was so flat where we hiked in. I was like, this is hiking? I thought this was like, in my head, hiking was so different, right? But it was just taking a walk in the woods, like what we grew up with. And I think a similar concept can be applied for regenerative agriculture, especially here in Pennsylvania. A lot of these farmers, including our farm, are already doing regenerative practices. A regenerative is about giving back and not just taking, ensuring that health is the number one priority, not just the yield, right? And so you have to give back in order to take. Here in northern PA, we're super disconnected from the rest of the agriculture industry sometimes, the rest of civilization. So you see a lot of farmers producing pretty much everything themselves. Like they'll make a lot of the grains and feeds to then feed their cows and grow their own heifers and that kind of thing. And with that, it's not just about yield, it's about longevity and health and it all working symbiotically together. And so we do believe our farm is that, and we like to share that. And really empower farmers to share what they're doing to really sustain and enhance the health of their supply chain. And it's not just about soil health, right? It's about the health of the animals and the health of the farmer and the health of that agriculture industry being able to sustain itself. Because if you only have a healthy soil and you put a sick cow on it, guess what? You're not going to have great ground beef or great milk. And so regenerative is about taking those regenerative nutrients from the soil through the animals, stewarded by those farmers and ranchers, and all the way through processing, keeping the integrity of our nutrients and the processing techniques, because there's a lot of choices food brands can choose to process, like can add different things, they can deplete, they can separate. So keeping the integrity of those regenerative nutrients through processing, and then having a fair price on the shelf, fair for the farmer and the consumer.
It's a whole process, right? And regenerative, I like the way you interpret the word because I feel like it is kind of a buzzword and a lot of people think of it differently, but I really, I enjoy your interpretation of it.
Yeah, I always say trends make farmers go out of business. When I was growing up, like the early 2000s, I was scared of animal activists, to be honest with you, as a dairy farmer. It was scary as a kid.
Mhm.
But the big trend in the industry was animal health, right? And prioritizing animal health. And so with regenerative, we have to prioritize the health of the whole supply chain so we can enhance the soil, so we can, support healthy animals on those soils so that they're putting healthy manure back into it and those farmers being able to farm in generations because guess what if they're out of business. And so it's just it's really important to think about the whole concept.
Hayley, you and your uncle, John Painter, spoke on a panel at this year's Ag Progress Days back in August about your experience implementing conservation practices, including some that the USDA designates as climate smart. So what does climate smart, what does the designation mean, and why should people outside of ag care about it?
So climate smart is one of those things that I was personally confused at, and I'm in the industry of the food brand and the farmer, and I'm the consumer, so I'm probably one of the, most connected who should know what that is, right? And I was completely lost. And so before Ag Progress Days, I tried to understand all these different perspectives, and it turns out it's highly confusing, and there's different terms for climate smart as well, and people defining it. So there's two different government programs that are very different of what are climate smart. And then there's the consumer version of climate smart. And so when I'm thinking about climate smart, to cut through the jargon, I think about it as being a really positive thing for these farmers. And farmers should, if it is confusing, take it. And like my uncle said at that meeting, if you're not at the table, you're on the table. So as farmers, if it is a little confusing, just like regenerative, take it and support defining it in a way that benefits you and really showcases that you are climate smart. Because just that word, not knowing it, is a very powerful, positive meaning. And I hope that's what it is and will be for these farmers to really enhance the climate and to empower farmers to be the ones that are the number one climate stewards because they are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've talked to plenty of women on here who basically say, like, farmers, they have to care about the climate, they have to care about the earth because if you don't have a healthy planet, you're not going to have healthy crops, you're not going to have healthy animals. So, like, they have to care. That's their livelihood is this earth. So,
Exactly. Think about regenerative. Like, regenerative is to like sustain and give back. But these farmers, even like ones who are maybe people consider not regenerative, the opposite, like large conventional CAFO farms, there's nothing wrong with any of those words I just said. And it was actually encouraged to be a sustainable, climate smart initiative back in the 70s. All farmers were told, get big, get big, get big. That's sustainable. So the farmers reciprocated. So I don't think there's any farmers out there that don't care about the environment or the climate. I think there's a lot of demand from consumers, and we need to support our farmers. So there's no farmers though that go out of business for these trends, and we're empowering them to become the new definition of sustainable because guess what? That definition changes all the time.
yeah. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. You and your sister were named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, which is a pretty major accomplishment. What was your reaction, first of all, just to finding out that you made the list? And then what advice do you have for fellow young people who are looking to kind of maybe make a big leap in their professional lives?
Yeah, the Forbes 30 under 30, we've gotten a lot of different opportunities. And that was something we have had a dream of getting since before we knew we were going to have a yogurt brand. This was back when we were seniors in high school. We worked on the farm all summer, saved up enough money, and bought a ticket to travel to California and Arizona. It's funny, I referenced that same trip in this podcast, which is ironic, but we saved all this money up. Oh shoot, what was the question?
Yeah.
I,
What was your reaction to finding out that you were named to the 30 under 30?
oh
And
dear.
then what advice would you have for fellow young people who are looking to make a big leap professionally?
Yeah. So we saved up our money and from working on the farm, like took a flight to California and there was a magazine on the back of the chair and it was a Forbes 30 under 30 list. They were just announcing the listers and there were these two women who were on the list and they were Alaskan fishermen. And they started selling fish to the lower 48 to sustain their fishermen in their area and to pay them more so that they could keep fishing and their legacy could continue. And we read that and we were like, we make it in the world when we get Forbes 30 under 30. Like, we don't know what we're doing, what we need to do, but like, that's what we want to do. And so we've always looked up to them and like that was like the time when we'd make it in our lives, in our eyes, at least when we were young and naive. And so when we got that, it was wild because we were in one of the most stressful times in our company. My sister just had a baby. We actually applied for the list as she was like giving birth. I was asking her the last minute questions because they needed it by the next morning, which is when her daughter was born.
Oh gosh.
So we were like answering this thing, not really thinking too much about it, right? And when we got the call back, it was just unreal, right? Because we were just putting in, I don't know, 16 to 20-hour days sometimes. Like we weren't sleeping, we were traveling too much. We needed to raise money. We were getting investors. We were putting it all out on the table. And right when we were in the middle of a crazy day, we got the news and it was like, okay, we made it. We have to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
do you have any advice for anyone who's maybe under 30 looking to make some strides?
Yeah, I would say the things that you think are the least possible, like we didn't actually think we could make that list ever. Like that was impossible in our minds. So just like your biggest goals, even if they seem unreachable, keep them in your back pocket. Don't do everything in your world to get to that one, like especially if it's something like a list, but like follow your mission and have those big, far-reaching opportunities that you want to get with your mission and do everything you can to get there because you never know when something like that can happen. And if you don't get that recognition for the work, it doesn't matter. Like you're still pushing your mission forward and you can make your mission change the world.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to know that because there's so much out there that we can do to make the world a better place. Whether you're a farmer, an eater, like whatever it is, we can change that and just using your voice and your perspective to get out there and give it a try.
I love it. It's good advice.
So, do you have a favorite flavor of your yogurt? And do you have like a favorite recipe that uses skyr?
Let me throw that back on you guys. What's your
Ooh.
favorite flavors?
You know
Wow.
what's funny?
Funny you should
Funny
say
you should
that.
ask. We don't have it today because we only thought about it today because we're like, man, we need to try it. And I saw it's available at like Giant and stuff. So in a couple weeks, we're gonna record like an outro where we're going to taste your yogurt for the podcast. So
So we'll have a
We-
little at the end of the episode. We'll be having like a little taste test,
Yes.
and we'll let everyone know what our favorite is. And
so
yeah.
we've yet to try it, but we're going to get some and bring it in and do a little like live tasting on the podcast.
And I will say this, like, I liked hearing you say that, like, you weren't really a big yogurt fan. You wanted to try something different because I'm not a big yogurt person either. So I'm excited to try something that, like, maybe I'll actually finally find the yogurt that I'll want to eat.
I hope so, because that's how I feel with it. It's like
Yeah.
so different. But we can send you guys a whole goodie bag so you can do like an unboxing moment
Oh,
That'd be
with
fun.
our cow stickers and fun magnets. So send me your addresses after this. So then and you get to try our new flavor, passion fruit, which isn't
yeah.
in Pennsylvania yet. It'll be launching in January. So
Okay.
Ooh,
yeah.
yeah, because I was on the website and I was very intrigued by passion fruit. I feel like that
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Oh, and I do all of the flavoring because I'm so snobby about yogurt. If I don't like it, it doesn't pass. So I hope that it is unique and different from other yogurts. It is just like this creamy, decadent thing. And then if you have the plain, which is my favorite, you can throw it some French onion soup mix in there. You can eat it with chips and dip. You can
Ooh.
have, your carrots with it, but eat it savory. If you don't like it sweet, try it savory and you will not regret it. Throw some extra hot sauce right over the top and eat it with some Tostitos. Like,
That sounds
Oh,
delicious,
yeah. I feel like
actually.
there's a lot of options of what you can do, especially with the plane. Like you can do a
Yeah.
lot with that.
oh yeah. Well, I'm excited for your unboxing. I'm gonna have to tune into that one.
I'm excited too. I'm excited to because I am a yogurt person. I love like Greek yogurt. I eat all the time, so I feel like I'm really going to like this.
Okay, now that's even more pressure on me.
Oh
Really?
no,
What if
no.
you don't like it?
Oh, I'm sure I will. I feel like I am such a dairy fan in general. It's so hard for me to find a dairy product I don't like. So
That's awesome. Yep, I'm a dairy fan too, so that'll be great. I'm looking forward to hearing everything you guys have to say about it, and then maybe we can even send you some of that soup mix when you're doing the unboxing. You can try
make a
the
little chip
savory
dip.
right there.
All right. So we have one last question for you, which is, what does it mean to you to be a woman in ag?
Being a woman in agriculture is something I'm becoming more empowered to say, I guess, and why it is such an important thing to be proud of. Um, just, you know, growing up on the farm, I guess I didn't realize the difference. But then when you get out in the world, it's already hard enough to be anybody in agriculture and to be appreciated. To be a woman in agriculture, it's not the stereotype, right? So you're fighting a stereotype, but because you're that stereotype, you also can have the biggest impact to connect the rest of the world with agriculture, because you have this, you know, you're already like breaking, people want to know, oh, you're a woman in agriculture? Like they probably already were not thinking about a woman doing agriculture and being a farmer. So you already have them hooked. Then we can tell them the really cool things about what we do as farmers and as agriculture people. And then in the industry, sharing why, we're proud to be women in agriculture because we can look at it as different and because it typically, it wasn't appreciated. And there are people out there who are women in ag who still don't have the same opportunities as guys in agriculture. And that's just how it is. So speaking more and more openly about it for both the consumers and the farmers, it's just a win-win situation and it's something we should all be really proud of.
Awesome. Love to hear that.
All right. Well, thank you, Haley, so much for joining us at the farmhouse. We are both very excited to be trying the Skyr soon. So,
Well, I'm excited for you guys to try it. Thank you so much for having me. Lancaster Farmer and our family is one of like the few things we had from the outside world. We grew up with like 5 channels on our TV, and the Lancaster Farmer, we'd all like fight over who got different pieces of it. And when I say we all, there was probably like 25 of us, right? It was like all my uncles, my grandparents. We all wanted bits and pieces of, the farming Bible. And
yes.
I feel so honored to be on this podcast, and I just have the highest respect for what you guys do.
Oh,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. It's so great to hear when
Yeah.
people love the paper because I mean, we love the paper and we love working here and doing what we do. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you guys make a big difference for farmers and for all those farm kids out there. You're our connection to the outside world.
It was really great to talk to Haley again. I actually got to meet her up at Ag Progress Days. We rode in a hot air balloon together, so that's a pretty memorable experience. But I just, talking to her, even just for a very short amount of time up there, I knew immediately, I was like, oh, I gotta get her on the farmhouse. So it's great that we finally got her on. And I thought, I mean, her, and even though we didn't get to meet her sister, I mean, they're doing some impressive stuff at a young age.
They really are, and she has such great energy. I mean, I feel like I felt it as soon as she began speaking to us, and I can see how that kind of energy would translate easily to the success of their business because, if I was sitting in a pitch meeting and she and her sister were, talking to me about their brand and using that same kind of energy, I feel like I would be interested. I'd want to be a part of what they're doing. But I think one of the things that struck both of us is that, yes, they're successful, but it's the way that they measure their success that kind of stood out to us.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I did not realize that they source milk from 25 additional farms. Then I knew that they, were too big for just using milk from their own farm, but that's a lot of farms, 25. And to hear that the way they set goals is based on, we want to be at 40 farms by this year, that's just such different thinking than I think most people who are in any kind of business would be looking. And I guess it kind of makes sense because they're coming at it from the perspective of, they were dairy farmers, they grew up on a dairy farm, and so they understand those struggles. And just very neat to measure success by the number of farms they're supporting. That's so cool.
Yeah, it really is an inspirational story. And so now, as we kind of alluded to during the interview, we are going to get ready to try some of the Skyr yogurt. And I am very excited. Will this be the day that I finally find yogurt that I enjoy? I feel like she's kind of really sold me on it already.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm a yogurt fan in general, so I'm very excited. And all of their flavors sound pretty tasty to me. So I guess you're all going to find out with us if we enjoy it. I think we will.
Yeah.
All right. So Hayley sent us a lovely package full of all kinds of yogurt. So we are going to try them live, but not really live because this is a recorded podcast, but live for you guys to get our genuine reactions.
And we are going to start with Meadowberry, which Hayley said was her favorite when we asked her. Steph, do you want to do the honors of first dip?
Should we mix it? Oh, I like that a lot. I am a yogurt fan and I love Greek yogurt. I might like that better. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I'm interested because A, I'm not usually a big yogurt person, so this is an adventure for me. And B, I don't really have like a flavor profile in my mind for what Meadowberry might taste like, so. It is nice though. It's very summery.
Yeah.
Which I get.
And it's a very like creamy texture. Like it's a very smooth. I like that. All right.
What's next?
What's up? What is this one?
Vanilla bean.
Oh, vanilla. Okay. We should have just gotten spoons for everything. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all right. I don't have a cold or anything right now.
All right. I'll give you this one first.
All right. Vanilla bean. Let's see. It's good. I definitely think I prefer the Meadowberry.
Okay.
I definitely taste the tang of yogurt more with this one, which I know some people love.
I think that would be really good, like dipping strawberries in it or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm not normally one to just eat like vanilla yogurt. I like it to be a fruit yogurt, but this is good.
Remember when Hayley was saying that she likes to put like hot sauce and stuff into yogurts? I wonder if that's what you do with the vanilla bean.
That would make sense.
All right, let's go to blueberry lemon.
I'm intrigued by this one. I feel like
I have high hopes for this one.
lemon and blueberry, neither of them is necessarily my favorite flavor profile. So I'm intrigued.
Oh, I like that one a lot.
Oh, okay.
I think that's my favorite so far. And again, it's because I don't taste the tang of the yogurt, and that's kind of my number one turnoff for most yogurts.
It's definitely very blueberry-y. I thought it'd be more lemon forward, but I really
get more lemon.
Really? Mm-hmm. Look at that, people. The difference of taste buds. I like it, though, but I think so far, Meadowberry is my favorite so far.
Okay.
But the next one is... okay. The next one is Savannah's Peach, and I love peach yogurt. So I'm excited for this one. If I can get it open. All right. Oh, that's refreshing. I think a peach yogurt is very refreshing. Like I eat that in summer all the time.
Oh, I like that one a lot too, actually.
That's good.
There's a nice smell to it.
Yeah.
I know I'm on record on this podcast of talking about how much I love peaches, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised.
I love a good peach.
All right, what's next? We have strawberry. I think, this is the one we're both pretty excited to try, both strawberry lovers.
And I feel like strawberry yogurt is like the classic yogurt flavor. Kind of. Maybe not. But it is for me.
Definitely very strawberry. I don't know if this one's my favorite.
I like it. But I will say, I think I like both. I think I like the mixed berry and the peach better than the strawberry. But I do like this.
Yeah. All right, we're down to our last one, the passion fruit, the new one.
Yeah, which I don't remember when Hayley said it's going on shelves, but I don't think it's on shelves yet. So we get to really...
A special preview.
Yeah, preview.
It's interesting. I'm trying to think of when I've had passion fruit before. I don't think I've ever had it. Maybe if it was in a fruit salad that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, it's definitely not like a flavor that I find in a lot of stuff. It's not super common.
Yeah, it's not really coming to mind.
All right. Brand new. Ooh, it's very tropical.
Yeah, that is the word for it.
Very tropical.
Yeah. I don't know if it's really for me, but
I like it.
Yeah, but I feel like what I was hoping for today was that I would finally find some yogurt that I like because I would like to be able to eat more yogurt. And I have finally found that. I think I would definitely revisit the blueberry lemon and probably the meadowberry.
I think
And peach.
my two favorites were meadowberry and peach.
So meadowberry and peach seem to be our two favorites, yeah. So thank you, Hayley, for sending us this yogurt for us to try. It was a lot of fun. It was very tasty. And thank you to everyone else at Painterland Sisters Yogurt for sending this along to us.
So if any of you guys listening are interested in trying Painterland Sisters Icelandic style Skyr yogurt, head over to their website, painterlandsisters.com. You can buy it from their website, and they also have a list on there of stores that it's available in. So maybe give it a try. It's pretty good. I feel like I maybe will switch from my weekly Greek yogurt to a weekly Icelandic yogurt.
And I might actually start eating yogurt on a regular basis.
All right. A win is a win.
Thank you for listening. If you liked this podcast, please consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And if you really liked this episode, please consider leaving us a review.
If you have any questions or thoughts about the episode or the podcast, you can email us at farmhouse@lancasterfarming.com.
You can also find us on social media at Lancaster Farming on most platforms.
Thank you again for listening and visiting us at the farmhouse. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Candace.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
This episode of The Farmhouse is copyright 2024 by Lancaster Farming Newspaper, part of the Steinman Communications family.
It was written by Stephanie Spiker and Candace Grusbowski. It was produced by Eric Herlock. The music you've heard throughout the show is courtesy of Tin Bird Shadow.